Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mind Fuck Podcast. Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for being here today. I really am uber grateful for your presence. My name is Wanu Aleshe, and sometimes I do go by Amazing Soul. FCK stands for fun, compassion, and kindness. Now, on the Mindfuck podcast, what we essentially talk about is nervous system regulation, how to safely build trust between our brains and our body, and also how to start to reconnect with our inner child, those younger versions of ourselves, so we can start to remember how to truly start to enjoy living life. Now, before we start, we have like a mini tradition. It's a list that I titled Reminders to Being Human. Now, the intention behind reading that list is to remind myself, but most importantly, to remind you on your journey. All right. Reminders to being human. Have fun along the journey. Show yourself compassion. Be kind to others. Being complex and being simple can hold true in the same breath. Stay curious. Hold space for pauses. Hold space for not knowing. Never underestimate the power of silence. Nature has a lot of wisdom. Pay attention. There is power in we than I. If nothing else makes sense, come back to love. Pain is our greatest teacher. And the very last one, never underestimate your ripple of existence. Yay! All right, my friend. Now let's get into the fun part of the show. All right. So I want you to picture something simple. Let's just say it's late at night, not a dramatic night, not one of those everything is falling apart nights, just a regular night. And you're in your bed, the lights in your room are off, and you have your phone in your hand and you're just scrolling on Instagram. Not because you're enjoying it, but because you don't really know what else to do with yourself, right? And every few seconds, you switch between probably Instagram or TikTok or a text message or maybe an email, then back to Instagram, right? And there's this quiet feeling in your body. It's not loud per se, it's not overwhelming, but it's just there. You can feel it. It's kind of like a restlessness, like something in you wants to move, something in you wants to express yourself, something in you wants to do something, but you don't know what that something is, right? So you stay still. I mean, you keep scrolling, you keep switching between those apps, you distract yourself, you might emotionally eat, and you wait for the feeling to go away. I want to talk to you about that moment today on the podcast because for a very long time, that was me in my life. And if I'm being honest with you, my friend, back then, I didn't have the language for it. I did not. I just thought, damn, why can't I just get myself together? Why is everything so damn hard? Or why does the small things in my life feel so overwhelming? And what I started doing back then, I was forcing myself. I was forcing myself to wake up early. I forced myself to be consistent with my routines. I forced myself to stay disciplined. I forced myself to sit with my emotions. And I also forced myself to be better. Just forcing myself all around. And on the outside, it looked like I was doing the right things. But on the inside, my body felt like it was under constant pressure. Like I was always behind, always trying to catch up with things in my life, always trying to fix something. And here's what I did not realize at that time in my life. I wasn't building capacity. No, I was overriding myself. There's a difference between building capacity and overriding yourself. There's a very quiet difference. And if you become aware of it, it changes everything for you in your life. Because forcing yourself feels like, I need to get this right. I should be able to handle this. Why am I not there yet? That's what forcing yourself feels like. And capacity, on the other hand, feels more like this. Can I just stay here just a little longer? Can I be with this feeling without running away from it? Can I give myself one more second of grace? That's it. Do you see how capacity is not loud? Capacity is not dramatic. Capacity, it's small, it's quiet. Um, there was a time in my life where when even sitting still with my own thoughts felt unbearable as fuck. I will try to voice journal or video journal, and within 2 minutes, my body will feel tight. My chest will feel heavy. My mind will start racing. And instead of just noticing what was happening in my body in real time, I will push myself harder. And I'll tell myself, just sit down, focus, just do it. Right? And the more I pushed myself, the more my body resisted over and over again. And I used to take that so fucking personally because like something was wrong with me. Why couldn't I just push through? But now looking back at my life, my body wasn't the problem. My body was responding exactly how it was designed to. My body did not feel safe back then. No. So when I tried to force myself into stillness, my body did not experience that as growth. My body experienced that as pressure. Do you see, my friend? And pressure, my friend, does not build trust. It doesn't. Pressure, it breaks the trust between your brain and your body. And this is the part I wish someone had told me early on my journey. You don't build capacity by forcing your way through things. No, it doesn't work that way. You build it by creating enough internal safety that your body is willing to stay, even when it's uncomfortable. That's it. Not because you told your body to, no, but because it feels okay to. It feels honest to stay with those emotions. Now, let me show you what that looked like for me in real everyday life, not theory, lived experience. There was a time in my life where I couldn't sit with my sadness. No, not at all. Not even for 1 second. I mean, the moment sadness came up in my body, I would distract myself. I would emotionally eat. I would scroll endlessly on social media, or I would just call someone or watch something on TV. I would do anything but not feel my sadness. And if I couldn't escape that feeling, that sadness will turn into anger fast, like this. And I used to think to myself back then, I have anger issues. I used to tell myself, Wanu, you have anger issues. But that wasn't true. That was far from the truth. My body back then did not have the capacity to feel the sadness underneath the anger. So my body used anger to protect me because I did not have capacity. Now, here's where I used to go wrong in my life. I thought the solution was to force myself to sit with it. So I would just sit there tense, trying to process, right? But inside my body, though, everything in me wanted to run because it was overwhelming as fuck. And I will tell you right now, that's not capacity. That is endurance. And endurance has a limit. It does. And it feels forced. So instead, I started doing something different. Something so small. It almost felt like it wouldn't work when I first started doing this. You see, when the feeling of sadness showed up, or any emotion that was uncomfortable, I didn't try to fix it. I didn't try to name it. I didn't even try to go deep and analyze it. I just noticed one thing. And I would tell myself, I can actually feel something in my chest right now. That's it. That's it, my friend. There was no story, just noticing. There was no pressure. There was no fixing. There was no even expectation for that feeling to go in real time. I just noticed. And I will stay there. Sometimes maybe for 10 fucking seconds, 10 seconds, sometimes even less. But just the mere fact I noticed it in that moment, that's it. And then I would get up, drink water, and just walk around and go back to my day. That was it, my friend. There was no big breakthrough. There was no big release. Just that. And I remember thinking back then, is this even doing anything? This seems very pointless. Because most of us are so used to thinking growth has to feel big. But what I didn't see in that moment was I was building something internally, very quiet, right? Every time I stayed for those few seconds, maybe 3 seconds or 10 seconds or 20 seconds, my body was learning, okay, we did not die sitting with this. Okay, that wasn't so much. Okay, we can handle a little more next time. New information, new lived experiences. And over time, those 10 seconds became 20, then 30, then a minute, then 3 minutes, then 30 minutes. Not because I forced it, no, but because my body trusted it. That, my friend, is how you build capacity over time. You don't build capacity by jumping into the deep end. No, that's not how it works. You build capacity by letting your body decide how far it's willing to go. You listen to your body. And I want to bring this back to something you might recognize in your own life. In the morning, let's just say you wake up and your alarm goes off, right? And before your feet touches the ground, you feel it. I mean, you literally feel your feet on the ground. That slight heaviness, that slight resistance, that I don't feel like doing anything today. And what most of us do when we feel that is we fight that feeling, right? And we force ourselves and tell ourselves, come on, get up. Don't be lazy, right? Other people are doing more. Why can't you? That's what we tell ourselves. That's the story the brain attaches. And maybe you get up. Maybe you just push through that day, right? But your body, though, if you're being honest, your body's still in resistance. Now, I want you to imagine something different. The same morning I just described, the same feeling I just told you about, but instead of forcing yourself out of that feeling, you pause. And just for a few seconds, right? And you put your feet on the ground and you actually feel them on the ground. You don't rush through the moment. There's no pressure on your body. You're just noticing what's happening in real time. And you can say to yourself, okay, my feet is just on the floor. That's it. And you stay there. You stay with that sensation for a few seconds, maybe even 5 seconds. If you can, maybe 10. You don't have to. Maybe 3 seconds. That's it. That moment of awareness, that, my friend, is capacity. It's not because it's impressive. It's because you stayed with yourself, even if it's for one moment, without overriding yourself. That's how you build capacity. And I know how this can sound, especially if you're used to pushing yourself. You've been doing that all your life. I know it can sound like, this is too simple. Yeah, this isn't enough. We need to do more. I need more, right? I know. I get that part because I used to think that way, right? Because a part of me for a long time believed that if I wasn't pushing through everything in my life, I wasn't growing. That was a belief system I had for so many years. And here's the truth, I had to learn the uncomfortable way. Pushing myself got me results, but it didn't give me stability. No. I mean, I could perform, I could show up, right? I could do the thing. That was me. But inside my body, though, I felt exhausted as fuck. And the moment I stopped pushing myself, everything will fall apart. That's not capacity, right? That is a survival coping mechanism. Building internal capacity is way different. Capacity means you can stay with yourself without collapsing and without forcing anything. That is what capacity means. Capacity is that middle space. And building capacity, building capacity, my friend, takes time. Not because you're slow. It's not even because anything is wrong. No, that's not what's happening. But because to build trust, undeniable trust between your brain and your body takes repetition. Let me give you another example, my friend. There was a time in my life I couldn't sit in silence. No, 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 no. I mean, if there was no noise, if there was no music, if the TV wasn't playing in the background, my mind would get loud as fuck, fast like this. And I always had something playing in the background, always. And one day I decided to try something different, just to see, being curious and see where the experience would lead me. Not a full hour of silence. It wasn't even 10 minutes. It was 30 seconds. I decided to try to sit in silence for 30 seconds. I just turned everything off around me and I just sat down for 30 seconds. And within seconds, my body felt uncomfortable. Because it's new, right? I wasn't used to it. And my mind, of course, started going, this is weird. Turn something on now. We need some noise. Why are we even doing this? And I almost did. Almost. But instead, I stayed for those 30 seconds. I really did. It wasn't perfectly. It wasn't calmly either. It was human. I just stayed. I gave myself permission to be a human being for 30 seconds. That was it. And then I turned the noise back on, the TV, the music, and that was enough. That's it. Right? Because again, my friend, I wasn't trying to prove anything. That wasn't the intention. I was just simply showing my body in real time, we can be here just for 30 seconds. That's it. And over time, just doing that, those moments expanded, right? Not because I forced silence, but because silence started to feel less threatening to my body. That's the shift. You see, my friend, you're not trying to control your experience. No. The intention behind this is you're changing your relationship to your own human experience. And that relationship is what builds capacity in your life. Right? So if you're listening to this, my friend, and there's a part of you thinking to yourself, okay, I heard all you had to say, but where the fuck would I even start to build capacity? Start small. Start small. Not small in a performative way. No, I mean small in a real human way. I mean the kind of small your body does not resist. Start honest. Honesty, where you're at in the moment. Maybe it's noticing your breath for 5 fucking seconds. That's it. Maybe it's feeling your feet on the ground when you wake up in the morning. That's it. Maybe it's sitting with a feeling just long enough to say, I actually notice the sadness. I notice the anger. And then stepping away. That's it. Start small. You don't need to go deeper than your body's ready for. No, because what happens is your body shuts down. It goes into fight or flight. And that's the part most people skip. Most of us try to jump ahead, right? But your body doesn't work like that. It needs capacity first. That's it. And your body builds capacity through lived experience, through repetition, through honesty, through consistency, not intensity, through moments that feel safe enough to stay. That's how your body builds capacity. And that's how you build trust between your brain and your body. And I want to say this very clearly because I know how easy it is to turn this thing to another thing you have to get right. You don't need to be perfect at this. No, no, no. You need to be human as fuck. Because there will be days you force. There will be days you avoid. There will be days where you don't even think about any of this. That's part of the journey. That is being human. Because capacity isn't built in perfect conditions. No. Capacity is built in real, everyday, mundane life. It is messy. It's in those messy moments, like when you're in a conversation with a friend and you feel yourself getting triggered in real time. And instead of reacting immediately to that other person, you pause, even if it's for 1 second. That pause, my friend, is capacity. That's how you build capacity without forcing it. Or when you feel the urge to scroll on your phone, you catch it, you become aware of that urge. Even if you still scroll, that awareness, that space is capacity. Or, for example, when you start feeling heavy in your body, and instead of shutting down completely, you let yourself feel, even if it's 5%, that 5% is capacity, my friend. And I'm telling you right now, it adds up over time, consistently, quietly. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, until one day, you realize you can stay with things that used to overwhelm you just a little longer. And it doesn't feel like you're forcing anything anymore, right? It just feels like you. It feels like you being a human being. So if you take anything from this, my friend, let it be this. You don't have to force your way into becoming someone who can handle more in your life. No, no, you don't. You become that person by slowly showing your body that it is safe to stay. You have to show your body, not all at once, just a little longer than the last time. And that's how it happens, my friend. So if you're in one of those moments right now, my friend, I mean, it's late at night, you have your phone in your hand, and you're feeling that quiet restlessness right now, right? You don't have to fix it. Excuse me. You just have to notice what you're feeling right now. and maybe stay with it. Maybe, excuse me, for one more second than you usually do. And that's enough. I mean, that's more than enough. That, my friend, is the power of awareness. As always, I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you so much for listening. And I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Thank you.